It was a warm afternoon when I approached Buddha, my mind heavy with the challenges of parenting. My son disobeys me, I said. My patience grows thin, and I feel anger rising with each day. Buddha gazed at me with kindness and motioned for me to sit beside him under the Bodhi tree. When anger visits, it is as a flame, he began. It burns you before it burns another. I nodded, unsure how to extinguish this flame consuming me in moments of frustration and despair. Buddha extended his hand, gesturing toward a nearby river, its water flowing steadily despite the occasional stone interrupting its path. Anger is like the stone in the river, he said. It obstructs, but the water finds a way. But Master, I protested. The anger feels overwhelming, and I cannot find the way as the water does. Buddha smiled. Would you be willing to try a practice to guide the water of your mind? I agreed, eager for relief from the burden of my temper and its impact on my family. Take a deep breath, he instructed, his voice as soothing as the wind rustling through the leaves. I inhaled deeply, filling my lungs as he had advised, then exhaled slowly, releasing a fraction of my tension. Now, he continued, when you feel anger arise, focus on your breath. Let it be your anchor in the storm. I closed my eyes and imagined the breath as water, flowing smoothly, calming the fiery tumult within. When you speak to your child, Buddha said, consider your words carefully, as a gardener tends to each delicate flower. My mind wandered to the times I had spoken harshly, my words cutting through the air like a sharp blade. Words can wound or heal, Buddha continued, and the choice lies within you. Speak with love, even in moments of trial. But how do I teach him if he does not listen? I asked, desperation leaking into my tone. Buddha leaned closer, his presence a wellspring of tranquility amidst my inner turmoil. A child learns by watching, he said. Your actions sow seeds that will grow into his understanding of the world. I thought of my son's watchful eyes, reflecting my own behaviors. For better or for worse, do you wish for him to grow in anger? Buddha asked. Or in kindness and patience? Like a tree? The imagery struck me deeply, and I longed for my son to stand tall, rooted in compassion. The next time he disobeys, Buddha advised, pause. Allow your breath to guide your response, not your frustration. Sadhira breathed deeply, his chest no longer tight. His voice softened as he turned to his apprentice and spoke kindly. My anger was misplaced, Sadhira admitted, his words carrying the weight of humility. It is cultivated, not innate, like a potter shaping clay on the wheel. His words resonated, as I realized my own impatience was a habit I could begin to reshape. Can anger be stopped entirely? I asked, hopeful for a future free of such difficult emotions. Buddha shook his head gently. Anger is part of being human, but it does not have to control you. I absorbed his wisdom, seeing that I could coexist with anger without allowing it to dictate my actions. Be gentle with yourself, Buddha added. Parenting is a journey, and each step is a chance to learn. His encouragement lightened the weight I had carried. Knowing imperfection did not mean failure. Will my son notice the change in me if I begin to practice patience? I wondered aloud. Buddha nodded. Children are attuned to the shifts in their parents. Your calmness will ripple through your family. I imagined a home where peace replaced shouting, and love flourished even in moments of disagreement. Begin today, Buddha said, with a single moment of mindfulness. Each step forward is progress toward harmony. I bowed deeply, gratitude swelling in my heart for the profound guidance he had offered so graciously. As I left the monastery, the sun warming my back, I carried a renewed sense of hope for my parenting. The lessons Buddha shared became my compass, steering me toward a path of patience, love, and self-awareness. In the days that followed, I practiced breathing, pausing, and speaking with intention. Though the progress felt slow, The cycle feels endless, Leela confessed with despair. Buddha listened. His silence welcoming her pain and his presence like a balm easing the weight in her heavy heart. The challenges of raising a child remained, but the weight no longer felt impossible to carry alone. The flame of anger dimmed as the water of mindfulness flowed steadily, nurturing both myself and my child. Leela's tears continued as she whispered, "Master, I feel powerless before this cycle. How can I stop the raging fire?" Buddha inclined his head slightly, his fingers resting gently on the earth. Another day, the sun rose over the monastery, casting golden light upon the garden where the disciples gathered in silence. A father approached Buddha, his steps heavy, his face burdened with sorrow and the guilt of a recent argument. "Master," he began, his voice trembling, "I have spoken in anger to my son, and now silence divides us." Buddha listened intently, his eyes steady and filled with compassion. As the father continued, "How can I mend this silence?" "Silence," Buddha said softly, "is a space. Imagine a pot of water heated by flames. What happens if the fuel is removed?" "It cools," Leela replied, her voice barely audible, the concept offering a distant glimmer of clarity amid her swirling emotions. Buddha gestured to the garden surrounding them, where flowers bloomed, their colors vibrant and their stems reaching toward the sky. "Look at these flowers," he said. "They grow in silence, requiring no words to unfold their beauty and their truth." "But Master," the father replied, "my silence feels cold, a wall built of anger, and my son remains distant from me." Buddha placed a hand upon the earth, feeling its steady pulse. Silence need not be cold. Silence can offer warmth if approached with intention. The father furrowed his brow, wondering how the silence born of his anger could transform into something nurturing and kind. Buddha smiled. "The transformation begins with you. Speak to silence with love, and silence will respond with healing." "But how can I do this?" the father asked, his voice tinged with frustration at the elusiveness of Buddha's wisdom. "Consider your words carefully," Buddha advised. "Like a gardener, choose seeds of apology and kindness to plant within the soil of silence. When overwhelmed, retreat to silence as one might seek shelter from rain. Find strength in the pause." "Do you see how the water fills this empty vessel?" The father nodded, watching as the water rose gently within the vessel, its surface smooth and reflective under the sunlight. "Your silence," Buddha continued, "is like this vessel. It can be filled with love, apology, and renewal through your mindful effort." The father felt a flicker of hope, recognizing the potential to restore his bond with his son through intentional actions. "Begin with a simple gesture," Buddha said. "Sit beside your son, and let him feel your presence." "Let silence speak first." "But Master," the father objected, "will silence alone mend the hurt my words have caused?" Buddha's voice carried wisdom as steady as the river flowing nearby. "Words will come, but silence prepares the soil." The father bowed his head, understanding that silence held a space for reconciliation, not as a barrier, but as an opening. "When the time feels right," Buddha continued, "let words flow gently, like water nourishing the thirsty earth." The father closed his eyes, imagining himself speaking to his son, his words soft and filled with sincerity. Buddha nodded approvingly. "Let your words be guided by intention, and trust that the seed of healing will take root." "Master," the father asked hesitantly, "how long will it take for my son to trust me again?" Buddha turned his gaze toward the sky. "Trust grows like the tree, slowly, steadily, and deeply, if nurtured with consistency." Buddha regarded Ravi thoughtfully, his gaze both gentle and penetrating as he sensed the sincerity within the young man's heart. "Tell me, Ravi," Buddha asked, his tone inviting honesty, "what trials have come before you, and how have they shaken you?" Ravi hesitated, then began. I face hardship, expectations, and failure. My efforts to calm my anger crumble under life's fierce winds. Buddha gestured to the river once more, its water flowing gracefully over stones and around bends. Unwavering in its journey, the river teaches us persistence, Buddha said. The mountain is unmoved by the winds and rains that surround it, Buddha explained. It remains steadfast, its core unyielding. Remember, Buddha added, healing is a shared journey. Invite your son into the process, and allow him the space to respond. The father considered how often he had spoken at his son rather than inviting him to speak in return. Buddha leaned closer. In silence and in speech, approach him with humility. Let him know you value him as he is. Even the mountain begins as small stones, Buddha said, his words deliberate. Each stone strengthens the whole. Even when storms rage, Ravi's eyes returned to the mountain, its silent strength inspiring hope. Though his doubts lingered, how do I gather these stones? Buddha's tone remained steady. That evening, the father sat beside his son, their silence filled with intention and the seed of renewal planted. Slowly, gently, he spoke, expressing his love and regret, choosing his words as carefully as a gardener planting seeds. But, Master, how do I resist anger when the storm feels too strong to withstand? Ravi asked, his voice trembling. Pause and breathe, Buddha replied. The process was slow, yet each step brought healing, trust, and connection, like the steady bloom of flowers in spring. Through silence, patience, and intentional words, the father discovered the power to transform pain into the foundation of renewal. And so, Buddha's wisdom illuminated the father's path, proving that silence held the potential for warmth and reconciliation. Another day, clouds lingered over the monastery, the air heavy with the approaching rain as a mother sought Buddha's guidance. Her face reflected exhaustion, her shoulders slumped under the invisible weight of her responsibilities as a parent and caregiver. Master, she began hesitantly, I feel as though I have given every part of myself and have nothing left to offer. Buddha met her eyes, his gaze steady and kind. As he gestured for her to sit beside him near the pond, the act of giving, Buddha said, is noble, yet the well must be replenished lest it run dry and barren. The mother sighed deeply, her weariness apparent. How can I replenish myself when there is so much to do each day? Buddha picked up an empty bowl resting nearby, holding it before her. Consider this bowl. Though empty, it has not lost purpose. She stared at the bowl, unsure how its emptiness could reflect the overwhelming depletion she felt within her own spirit. The bowl, Buddha explained, holds space for what will fill it. So too must you hold space within yourself. But Master, she protested, how can I create space when my days are consumed by meeting the needs of others? Buddha gently placed the bowl upon the ground, allowing the rain to begin filling it drop by drop. Time is not found, Buddha said. It is created. A single drop is small, but together they fill the bowl. The mother watched the rain falling steadily, each droplet rippling the water within the bowl, its surface beginning to rise. Create moments, Buddha continued, however brief, to nurture yourself. A breath of mindfulness can renew a weary heart. She closed her eyes, breathing deeply, imagining each breath as a drop of rain falling into the bowl of her soul. Rest is not selfish, Buddha said. It is necessary, for a depleted parent cannot give freely and fully to their child. The mother nodded, sensing the truth of his words, though guilt lingered in her heart at the thought of resting. Release guilt, Buddha encouraged. Love for yourself feeds love for your child. They are interconnected, not separate paths. But how will my children understand? She asked, fearing that moments of rest might be perceived as neglect by her family. Buddha smiled. Children observed their parents. The gardens grew silent, the whispers of wisdom weaving through the leaves and illuminating the souls of all present. The Buddha's presence remained, etched into the hearts of his disciples and the world beyond. As the stars emerged, their brilliance reflected the eternal truth of the Buddha's teachings. Another day concluded, but the seeds of mindfulness and compassion had been sown, promising the harvest of a brighter tomorrow. The pond teaches us, Buddha said, that starting again does not require a perfect surface but a connection to the stillness within. Jaya and Lila exchanged glances, their hearts touched by the wisdom that unfolded before them. Like lotus blossoms opening in light. When you feel overwhelmed, Buddha said, pause. Breathe. Allow yourself to reset, even briefly. Before continuing your journey, the mother practiced the breathing, finding a momentary sense of calm amidst the storm of her thoughts and responsibilities. Choose one small act each day, Buddha advised, that brings you joy or peace. These acts will replenish your spirit. She considered his suggestion, imagining a quiet moment with tea or a walk in the garden, offering reprieve from her duties. The act of giving to yourself, Buddha said, is as sacred as giving to others. Both are expressions of compassion and care. The mother pondered his wisdom, recognizing how seldom she had shown compassion toward herself in her pursuit of being a good parent. Buddha placed his hand upon the earth, steady and grounding. The earth supports us as we support others. Allow yourself support. Master, she asked softly, how can I balance the needs of my children with my own need for renewal? Balance, Buddha replied, is like walking a tightrope. It requires mindfulness and adjustment. Step by step, moment by moment. The mother nodded, understanding that balance was a dynamic process rather than a fixed state, requiring continual awareness and effort. As you fill your bowl, Buddha said, you will find energy and patience to better serve your children with love and presence. She reflected on the times her exhaustion had led to frustration, realizing how replenishment could transform her responses and interactions. Begin now, Buddha said, with a single step toward renewal. Each drop adds to the bowl. Each moment strengthens your spirit. The mother bowed deeply, gratitude evident in her tearful eyes as she prepared to embrace the wisdom Buddha had offered. As the rain subsided, she left the monastery, carrying an empty bowl within her heart, ready to fill it day by day. In the days that followed, she practiced creating moments of renewal, breathing deeply, and nurturing herself with small acts of kindness. Her children noticed the change in her demeanor, sensing the love and patience that grew as her spirit replenished. This water, he said, represents impermanence. It cannot be held forever. Yet its essence continues in the stream. Sariputta glanced at the valley below, its rivers winding like threads. Master, does nature hold answers to our restless hearts? Buddha's smile deepened as he replied, only then can the soul renew itself. His statement echoed his earlier teachings, reinforcing the interconnectedness of letting go and transformation. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.